Last week, Apple seeded the first betas of iOS 15.4, and we spent a good amount of time highlighting the bigger features that came from this update, but there were also a few other features that are definitely worth mentioning, and so that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. Now, the big features that were released with these updates were universal control and Face ID with a mask, and you can actually check out the full videos on both of those features by clicking the card here in the upper right corner. But for a quick update on those, universal control allows users to use their keyboard and mouse from a Mac and control another Mac or iPad by simply placing the devices next to each other and then simply sliding the cursor from one screen to the other. Now, Face ID with a mask is a feature for users who have an iPhone 12 or newer, and it will have Face ID read your eyes in order to authenticate and unlock your iPhone while you're wearing a mask. Another big bonus for this feature is that it can actually be used to authenticate payments and third-party app passwords, unlike the Unlock with Apple Watch feature that was released last year. So what else got an update in 15.4? Well, Emojis actually introduced support for Emoji 14, adding 37 emojis and 75 new skin tone additions for a total of 112 new characters. New faces include melting face, saluting face, face with open eyes and hand over mouth, face with peeking eye, face with diagonal mouth, and dotted line face, while some other new emojis include biting lip and bubbles. For personal automations that are set up in the Shortcuts app, there's a new Notify When Run option that lets you toggle notifications for shortcuts that are activated on or off. Now, the big thing with this option is that you can now choose to not be notified when a shortcut activates, something that wasn't possible with earlier versions of iOS 15. Notify When Run only shows up, however, when you disable the Ask Before Running setting. iOS 15.4 also brings us a new Apple Card widget in the Today view, which can also be added to the home screen. So if you wanted to see your current balance and daily spending graph right there on your home screen, well, now you can do so with this latest update. Switching quickly over to iPadOS 15.4, aside from universal control, another noteworthy update is if you have a connected keyboard with backlighting, you can now control that keyboard brightness inside of the Control Center. It will work for Apple's Magic Keyboard as well, but it does need to be added to Control Center by going into Settings, Control Center, and tapping the plus button next to the keyboard brightness. Icloud Keychain users can now add notes to any password entry, bringing Icloud Keychain more in line with other password storing options like 1Password. On your iPhone and iPad, Icloud Keychain can be accessed in the Settings app under Passwords. Apple provides security recommendations for weak or compromised passwords that are stored in Icloud Keychain, but in some situations, you might not be able to change those passwords. So if that's the case, in iOS 15.4, you can actually dismiss those alerts by tapping on the X button next to that alert. The action will then hide the security recommendation so that it doesn't show up in the main password section of the Settings app. And if you need to view that alert again, it can be found under Hidden Security Recommendations in Password Settings. After the iPhone 13 Pro models came out, users noticed that third-party apps were not displaying all animations at the full 120 Hz ProMotion refresh rate. Apple said there was a core animation bug that would be fixed in a future update, and it appears that 15.4 is in fact that update. So with this, now all animations in an app will display at 120 Hz for a much smoother and more streamlined app usage experience. Another quick little update is that SharePlay can now be accessed in the Share sheet whenever you share content from a compatible application. In the Notes section of the Settings app, there's a new Corner Gestures section under Quick Notes, and in this section you can actually customize functions for the left corner and right corner swipe. And lastly, in the TV section of the Settings app under Preferences, you can now choose between still frame or poster art options for the Up Next display inside of the app. Still frame shows still frames from what you were watching, while poster art shows the main title images for shows or movies. I do want to quickly mention that I did try this out for myself, and I'm not totally sure if this is working properly yet, as I have not noticed a difference between switching from still to poster art. So, of course, let me know in those comments if you do notice a difference. And of course, I'd love to know your thoughts about the rest of the 15.4 update down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.